Do you ever feel like your workday is just stuck in the past? Well, today, we're going to trace the incredible journey of how we get work done, from these really rigid blueprints to intelligent AI brains that are frankly changing everything.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a question that I'm guessing hits pretty close to home for a lot of us. With all the amazing software and tech we have at our fingertips, why are our days still so full of manual, repetitive, that mind-numbing busy work?
It all comes down to what we can call the automation gap. On one side, you have the promise, right? Smart, autonomous systems that free us up to be creative and solve big problems. But on the other side, well, there's the reality. Copying and pasting between 10 different tabs just to get one simple thing done.
To really understand how we can bridge that gap, we've actually got to go back in time, back to the first big corporate mission to find efficiency. This was the era of top-down control.
And that mission was powered by this discipline called Business Process Management, or BPM for short. The whole idea was to create a perfect, incredibly detailed blueprint for every single process in a company, and then build IT systems to enforce that blueprint. Nothing was left to chance.
And this is what one of those blueprints actually looks like in practice. You can see it here. Every single step, every if-this, then-not decision, every single handoff between teams. It's all meticulously mapped out and then hard-coded right into the software.
And, for these huge, really complex operations, this approach was an absolute game changer. I mean, take Heathrow Airport, one of the busiest international airports on the planet. They had to coordinate 75,000 employees just to turn planes around. It was the perfect test case for BPM.
And the results of all that rigid control? They were just undeniable. By automating everything from refueling to baggage handling, Heathrow saw its on-time departure rate soar from a kind of mediocre 68% all the way up to a really remarkable 85%.
And listen, this wasn't just about being on time. That level of control translated directly to the bottom line. We're talking about a measurable cost avoidance of £30 million. So yeah, blueprints definitely worked, but the world was about to change, big time.
So, let's fast forward to the next era and see how this all evolves, because that rigid top-down model was about to have a head-on collision with the rise of the cloud.
All of a sudden, work wasn't happening in one giant centrally controlled system anymore. Nope, it just exploded. It was scattered across hundreds and then thousands of specialized SaaS apps for everything you could possibly imagine. Slack, Salesforce, Google Drive, the list goes on and on.
And this created a totally new way of thinking about automation. We shifted from that top-down, IT-led approach that was really rigid and complex to a bottom-up, user-led approach that was all about being quick, simple, and connecting your individual apps.
The hero of this era is a tool you've probably heard of, maybe even used, Zapier. It basically became the digital duct tape for the modern office, letting anyone create these simple if-this-then-that recipes to connect the 6,000-plus apps we all use every day.
But here's the thing. Even the best digital duct tape is still just following a preset recipe that you wrote. The next big leap, the one that's happening right now as we speak, it's not about connecting tools anymore. It's about delegating goals.
We are now officially entering the age of AI agents. And as this quote really highlights, these are not just simple chatbots. We are talking about systems that can reason, operate all on their own for long periods, and deeply personalize how they work.
And here is the absolute fundamental difference. With the old automation, you had to define every single little step. With an AI agent, you just give it a goal, something like, analyze our top 10 competitors and write me a comprehensive market report, and it figures out all the steps to get there by itself.
To actually pull that off, an agent's reasoning power is just immense. To break down a single complex problem, it can perform over 1,000 distinct logical steps, all while keeping its eye on the main objective. Their working memory is also colossal. I mean, we're talking about a context window of over 10 million tokens. To put that in perspective, that's like reading and processing several long novels all at once, making sure its actions are always deeply informed by the context.
And this is where their autonomy really shines. You can give an agent a massive task and then just walk away. It'll work tirelessly in the background, 24/7, even while you're asleep, and it'll deliver the completed work when it's done.
So, what's the secret sauce here? What's the magic ingredient that makes this incredible leap in capability possible? How does a powerful but generic AI become your expert?
Because you're probably wondering, okay, that's great that it's smart, but how can it possibly understand the unique details of my project, or my company's data, or my specific way of working? It's a fair question.
Well, the answer is something called knowledge management. You see, an AI agent is only as good as the information it can access. If it only knows about the public internet, its usefulness is pretty limited. Its real power is unlocked when it can tap into your private knowledge.
A really brilliant solution for this is a concept called a knowledge garden. It's a simple three-step process. First, you feed the agent your private data, your documents, your spreadsheets, your project histories. Second, you assign it a high-level goal, not tiny instructions. And finally, the agent uses that unique knowledge to reason, plan, and execute the task as your own personalized expert.
So there you have it. We've gone on this journey from the rigid control of blueprints through the user-friendly simplicity of connectors, and now we have arrived in a brand new era defined by true, goal-oriented intelligence.
And that really brings us to one final provocative thought. This isn't science fiction anymore. This technology is here today. So the only question left is, if you had an autonomous AI teammate that could work 24/7 on your biggest challenges, what's the first thing you'd ask it to do?